Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today it went from 30 degrees Celsius to snowing as Villese, playing as the Blue Britons, prepares to take on Sebastian, playing as the Yellow Berbers. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings with Goat and with Scout, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now the Britons are very much a civilization built around supporting its ranged units. Archery ranges work 10% faster. Foot archers, except for skirmishers, come with extra range starting in castle. And if that's not enough range for you, all Briton foot archers can be upgraded to get even more range with a +1 yeoman upgrade. Now, all this extra range is fantastic news for their unique unit, the longbow, a decent foot archer that comes with a massive 12 range when it's fully upgraded. Now, Briton Trebs are also some of the most powerful in the game because they can be upgraded to do blast damage and have 100% accuracy against stationary units. Now, in order to support their military production, the Briton town centers, these guys do cost 50% less wood, and their shepherds work 25% faster. Now, opposing the Britons, we've got Sebastian playing as the Yellow Berbers, a civ that does whatever it can to push you into the four welcoming hooves of its cavalry. All Berber stable units are 15% cheaper in Castle Age, 20% cheaper in Imperial, which makes their Hussars super duper trash units. Their camels can be upgraded to regenerate health, and their castles can be upgraded to work 25% faster, which strongly benefits their first unique unit, the Camel Archer. This is a mounted archer with good HP, great speed, and a nice attack bonus against cavalry archers. Now, starting in Castle Age, the Berbers can also train their unique unit, their second unique unit rather, the Genitor. This is a mounted skirmisher that comes with more HP but less range and does cost a little bit extra food because, of course, you have to train the horse in addition to the man on it. Now, to help the Berbers get their economy up and running as fast as possible, Berber villagers move 5% faster in Dark Age. Take a look, 0.84 speed compared to the generic 0.8. And that speed now increases to 10% faster starting in Feudal. So overall, we've got two civilizations that have the potential to give us a nice mid to late game ranged war. We'll see whether or not the cheaper stable units of the Berbers come into play. We'll see if the Genitors come out. Not a unit you see a lot of in high elo games. Although when you're playing against a civ like the Britons, where you can't guarantee they're going to go ranged units, archers, but when you're playing the Goths, you can kind of suspect they'll go infantry. When you're playing the Magyars, you can kind of suspect they'll go cavalry. When you're playing the Britons, you can kind of suspect they're going to go ranged units, archers, etc. Whether or not those are arbalests, whether or not they're longbows has yet to be seen. But potentially the Genitors, I'm excited because, you don't really see them a lot, even in team games where the Berbers do give their teammates the ability to build them. Not very frequently do we get to see the Genitors. So I'm a little bit excited, not gonna lie, about the potential for this kind of civ matchup. For now, both players on 17 villagers. Let's take a look while they hack and hew at these poor elephants. Oh man, nobody tell the World Wildlife Federation about this this game, okay? While they continue to build their settlements, let's take a look at those settlements and see if any player is in a particularly advantaged or disadvantaged situation here. Sebastian, upper left, easy to wall off. Upper right, a little bit more open. Primary gold, kind of off campus to the side position. Primary stone, nice and secure in the back in a 3 shape. And the southwest of his base, also somewhat easy to wall off, although a decent medium-sized distance. Looks like Villese has already found his opponent and is now circling around the back. Let's take a look at Villese's base. Oh man, is this base open? Completely open to the south. Not so easy to wall off in the east as well. And this part very easy to wall off, which is no surprise why he's walling this off. So Villese, realizing that he has two options: either expend a huge amount of wood early on and villager downtime to construct a big wall off, or for now, construct a bit of a funnel. So what he's done here, if Sebastian tries to engage into his base, he's going to have to run through a town center firing radius, which is going to shoot a whole bunch of arrows into a scout. If Villese manages to garrison his villagers on time. Let's take a look at Sebastian's vision for now. Does see his opponent's base, and we'll discover, I think... Oh, no, didn't investigate all the way to the end. I guess he assumed that this forest went all the way to the edge of terra firma. Not sure why he stopped so close to the edge of the map, to be honest. Just another millisecond, and he would have scouted and confirmed his suspicions that there's no way through the back there. Otherwise, you never know. Sometimes forests go all the way to the end of the map, sometimes forests don't. So always a good idea to have as much scouting as possible. And this is what I was talking about. If he wants to bust in, he's going to have to do so through this funnel. He does. Villese, cool as a cucumber, not reacting at all. Not reacting at all. Okay. So Sebastian, with a little bit of a ballsy move here, has entered the base scene. Villese's backwards gold, much more secure than his, I think. Although, take a look at the stone, how exposed it is right next to a hill, which would make it very important for Villese to have to take this hill. Okay, look at this. Deciding to expend the wood. 2 villagers at this time. 2 villagers when your total count is 22 is not terrible. 2 villagers when your total count is 7 or 8 is obviously a bigger chunk of your workforce that's constructing. So Villese here playing a little bit more conservatively, and we're going to zoom out. Look at this chunk of map that he's carved out for himself on the mini map. It does look like, what, about an 1/8 of the map, whereas our Berber has left his base completely open, is now funneling as well. We'll see if this is for a part of a wall off or just a standard funnel again, to make sure that Villese has to engage into a town center if he wants any kind of scouting or damage done. For now, though, our Briton moving forward. 2 scouts, 2 spearmen, 3 scouts. Army supply 6 to 4. Villager count identical. A 5th scout on the way for our Berber. Remember, they're discounted stable units kicking in Castle Age, so no real discount just yet. So he is paying full price for these scouts that are running around the back there. Another blue dot. What are you? You are a scout. Okay. So Villese, seeing that his opponent hasn't really walled off his base, must be super duper happy. Not that he has a lot of military here, but when your opponent doesn't fully wall off, why, you know, that should bring a big smile to your face, because that means even if you take a little bit of town center fire, you can run in. Oh, the pathing for the scout. Oh, he's got to be so careful. I mean, right now, if Villese were to run in with his army of scouts, for example, 5 scouts, even if Sebastian walls this off, maybe 1 volley, maybe 2 volleys will hit one of these scouts, and then the rest will be inside the base. But once inside, they would 100% be trapped with nowhere else to go unless they wanted to exit again and take more town center fire. So this kind of funnel approach, not a terrible idea, although I obviously would want him to finish this house. That being said, it's not necessary. He's got 17 more supply room, does Sebastian. Takes the high ground, takes the fight, but 2 spearmen move forward, and the scouts get out of dodge. Okay, players have kind of disengaged. Let's see what they're building. A stable and an archery range for our Briton. So he's got the requisite structures. 32 villagers. Not really banking any kinds of resources, any good amount of resources just yet. So he's not interested in going up the castle anytime soon. Oh, Sebastian moves forward, sees 2 spearmen, so he knows his opponent is not hoarding resources if he's in the middle of building more and more army supply. If he had seen all of this, he would probably be very, very happy, since he's starting to bank the resources to go up to Castle Age. Let's take a look at what he's building. We saw the stable, obviously, where these scouts are coming from. Now a blacksmith as well. So it's starting to look like he does want to wall off his base, although a little bit indecisive here. Starting another house when there's already one under construction here. Oh, look at that. Draws a little bit of town center fire. Sebastian much quicker to garrison his... oh my god, I'm having trouble saying the sentence. Sebastian much quicker to garrison his villagers inside the town center than Villese was. This is a very ballsy attempt to take gold right now. 5 villagers, 6 villagers moving forward. It says 7 on gold. I'm not too sure where the 7th villager is, unless I'm counting wrong. No, this is 6. A bad engage here for our Briton, who has to retreat, but retreat he does into the welcoming arms of even more spearmen. Oh, and he evens up the kill count 2-2. Beautiful feigned retreat there. Absolutely spectacular move out of Villese. Sebastian thought he was going to chase this army down, thought that he could overrun it with how many? 10, 12 scouts. Little did he know that there were reinforcements, but what a validation for him that his opponent has not yet gone up to castle or even has the resources to. Although if we're talking about resources, Villese, look at that. 500 food already has the gold needed. Our Berber, 500 food, the gold nowhere close. Although by the time he does get the, that one villager gets to work, maybe we'll be able to go up roughly at the same time. But our Berber, 40 villagers to 38. When the villagers move a tiny bit faster, even 5% faster, small little incremental advantages, bonuses, whatever you want to call them, do eventually broaden out into big numerical numbers, especially percentage wise. I mean, look, two villagers right now is what, 5%, which means our Berber economy is 5% bigger than our Briton one. Although our Briton, take a look, already up to castle on the back of 39 villagers. Our Berber continuing, although our resources just disappeared. And now he's going up as well, 30 seconds after his opponent. I like this by Sebastian. I don't think he actually intended this wall off in quotation marks to last very long, but it does give his opponent something to focus on while he goes across the other side of the map with 9 very fast scout calves. And now the gates are open. But again, you know, once you're in there, he'll move. The gates will get closed. And now the gold, luckily, the gold has been the amount of gold he needed for castle. And that's why I was talking about, I don't think this wall off was meant to last. I think it was meant to focus Villese's efforts while he mined all the gold that he needed. Oh no, you don't want to engage into that many spearmen. How many Briton spearmen are there here? 6. So had he not built these houses, or had he built maybe a stone wall that would have deterred any kind of attack, Villese would have probably attacked his gold miners just like he did the second he busted in. But because there was a house here, it distracted him for a little bit. And that was all the time Sebastian needed to mine just exactly the amount of gold that he needed in order to go up to castle. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So if that's in fact the case, I mean, I'm just conjecturing. I obviously have no way of knowing what's inside the player's head, but I suspect if that's what he did, that 4D chess move is absolutely epic. If it's not what he did, then mission accomplished anyway. Both players now in castle. Pike, upgrade, bowsaw, bodkin. Our Briton already investing serious resources into his army. Why the hell not? He's got 15 army supply to the 6 of his opponent, who is now also starting to get padded archer armor and then a few economic upgrades. Let's take a look at the settlements now. Our Berber, because he had to build the defensive tower to protect his gold, no longer has the stone needed for a town center. Our Briton, the one putting all the aggression, 2 town centers up for him. Remember, 2 for 1 in terms of the cost of wood, but still does cost the full amount of stone. So he is going to start catching up very quickly in villager supplies. Take a look. 44 or 45 villagers for our Berber, not building any more. Our Briton at 45 with 5 more in the production tab. Why the heck not? He is the one putting on all the aggression. Sebastian actually buying stone so that he can get another town center up and running. These crossbows are not going to be very deterred. And here we go. I wanted to see them so bad. And what a perfect matchup to see them in against the Britons. The Britons are going to have to be so careful here. Remember, these are basically mounted skirmishers with more HP. From 35, it goes up to 50. And now the entire Briton expeditionary force is gone. He can't even run away because these aren't skirmishers. These are skirmishers on a horse. And they will catch up with this army in the middle of the desert and absolutely wreck them. I don't know why Villese is even bothering to run away. Go to the high ground and try to snipe at least one of these, or try to attack or take down the HP of at least one of these. He must have known he's not going to make it home. That being said, remember, this is still just a skirmisher, and so it is very, very exposed to not only all the weaknesses of skirmishers, but also all the weaknesses of cavalry. A little bit of micro in the desert here as the players disengage yet again. A third town center going up for our Berber. So it kind of looks like he's secured his primary gold. Kind of not. It's still exposed. Not too sure if our Briton, though, will continue putting on the pressure. And take a look at what 2 extra town centers give you. 64 Briton villagers, 65 to 50. Although our Briton is housed, needs to build these 2 houses yesterday. It looks like a third one. No, that's a mill. What an absolute fun unit to watch. Although they must get extremely tired holding up those spears as they run. Not only are they, you know, going at super fast speeds, but they're also on horseback, so they're bouncing up and down. I don't know how advanced their saddles are, but their arms must be exhausted from holding up those spears. I think he probably could have engaged there. This is where the Briton has to rely on his range. Take a look. Crossbows with 8. He's got his own skirmishers now out. 7 range, and the Genitor 6. So our Briton will get first dibs, let's call it, with the first shot off if these armies ever do engage with each other. That looks like they will, and our Briton takes the high ground as well. At the same time, these guys are trying to cause some kind of trouble. The problem for them is, again, they're just skirmishers. So poke and prod and throw your spear, your javelin, your projectile, all you want. You still do attack only on a 5. Our Briton back. A bigger army, 9 skirmishers, 8 crossbows, 6 pike. Although some of these units, look at this one pikeman, 1 HP on this pikeman. And unlike those Genitors, these crossbows are able to snipe villagers pretty damn well. 24 army supply for our Berber, almost all exclusively in Genitors. 28 for our Briton. Okay, so he's parked himself in a corner here. Our Briton engaging in yet again as they slowly waddle their way. A triangle here tells me that we've got a monk out on the field. Oh man, 1 Genitor in exchange for 2 crossbows. Not exactly the perfect trade there. The gate is down. The Berbers are inside the base. They are taking town center fire, but not a lot. Only 7 villagers in here. Blue has to go get home. Will he go home, or does he think he has enough to defend this? Take a look at the stone count, by the way, for our Briton, with 9 villagers already on stone. Has enough for a castle. The question is, will it be an offensive castle, like I'm sure he wants it to be? Or will it be a defensive castle, like I'm sure he needs it to be? Let's see. Okay. So they haven't actually gotten a lot of kills. 13 kills. Most of those is an army supply, right? I don't think there's... No, there's 3 villagers that he's killed. There's not a lot. Now he's drawing the army out into the back where he has numerical advantage. He has a lot of room to maneuver, and he's got speed on his side. 1 tries to distract. 1 tries to mess around with the AI of the firing AI of his opponent. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Look at the fancy schmancy footwork on these Berber horses. But a fresh batch of recruits comes in, and Yellow can go split his forces and what do we call him? You guys know what I mean. Split him and unsplit him as much as he can, as he wants to. Eventually, these skirmishers are going to close the distance with their longer range. Okay, so I thought he wanted an offensive. I thought he needed a defensive. He chooses a bit of a middle of the road kind of offensive. Not really. but enough to thwart any new attacks, not really enough to deal with this current one. 33 army supply to 25. Yellow continuing to micro these, giving us a display of Berber horsemanship here. We've got skirmishers versus mounted skirmishers. It does look like this will eventually get taken out. At the same time, what's going on over here? Oh, blue has stumbled upon the reinforcements. And the reinforcements, I wonder why he broke off 4 of them to go, or 5 of them to go this way. There's really a battle of reinforcements here, and now the attack is stalled. Man, I wanted to see Genitors. I'm getting my wish. We're going up to 25 of them, and both players heading up to Imperial. When you build only trash units like Genitors, Skirmishers, and Pike, you have a lot of resources left over to be able to go up to Castle ASAP. To Imperial, a second castle going up for our Briton. I love this location. King of the Hill. Maybe move it a little bit more forward just to protect the small stone patch here. With that being said, not exactly a bad location. Our Berber, who I think wanted his castle a little bit more in the forward position, settles on here. Takes the gold, but will attract the attention of the line. We'll keep our eye out on that. You guys know how much I absolutely love the animation. There we go. Oh, he wasn't even able to maul even once. That castle just snipes him down. And another one, his cousin with the territory to the north, also gets mauled, or rather gunned down. Although by who? By the Berber or by the Briton? Bit of a gap in the defenses here. Man, the mobility versus the longer range. This is such a classic matchup. You know, sometimes you have classic matchups in the sense of, for example, Teuton versus Mongol, where one has mobility and hard-hitting, speedy attacks, and the other has just very powerful structural defensive capabilities and just units that are incredibly powerful, but, you know, melee units having to close the distance. So in a match like this, what we're watching is less range but high mobility versus lower mobility and higher range. Oh yeah, we're getting yeomans, we're getting longbows. So take a look at the range on these longbows now. 11 range. The second they become elite, they will be fully upgraded. They will have all 12 range. I mean, I'm hoping we get to see them fully upgraded. Oh, spears. Oh my god, more and more gamesmanship and horsemanship. But blue pivots back. This knight is not going to last a long time against longbows. Not the strongest unit in the world, but man, with that extra range, they can shell away at you multiple times before you can even shell away at them once. Look at how far away these longbows are when they're attacking these Genitors. What an absolute beautiful display of speed versus range. Now imagine they came out with longbows on horses. I shudder to think at how people would be able to react to that. For now, first Treb coming out for our Berber. This castle is on the high ground, so we'll take a little bit less damage. A second castle going up for our Berber as well. I wonder why this specific location. Does he want to reinforce? Is this the area he wants to push through? It looks like a Treb is out for our Briton as well. 2 more. Absolute terrible. I think it's what we established 15% accuracy against a 1x1 tile unit or something like that. No, or against units. But with Warwolf goes up to 100% accuracy. So this Treb would have been dead by now if these blue Trebs had Warwolf. And let's zoom out. Let's see this big old field of battle. We've got Cavaliers with +1/+2. Remember, now that we're an Imperial, all Berber stable units are 20% cheaper. 20% cheaper, including these Cavaliers, by the way. Not just like the Magyars that have that 15% discount on their light cav and Hussars. This is everything that's coming out of the stable. The problem for the Britons is there's nothing really here to tank against melee units. The castle is down for our Berber. Backup castle is up and running. He sacrifices one Cavalier to see what the hell exactly is there. And he realizes he doesn't have melee. So immediately, there we go. Elite longbow being researched. So immediately plops down how many additional barracks? 5. I think this was part of the original wall off. So 5 additional barracks. Oh, these Cavaliers have to be careful. There's a fresh batch coming in through the south. But by now, the Genitors have been pushed back. Oh, he doesn't care. He's going for the Trebs. But gets pushed back. Halberdiers here being a game changer for our Briton. Yeah, it looks like now there's Werewolf. Area of effect damage 0.5. Gives them blast damage. Or trample damage, whatever the heck you want to call it. Blast radius. You guys know what I'm trying to say when I screw up my words a little bit here and there. And now our Briton is population capped at 200. Our Berbers struggling to get to 180, although with the current production, he is building more Cavaliers. Not bad at all. Remember, Berbers don't get Paladins, so Cavaliers is about as tanky a heavy cavalry unit as he will be getting. Also, I love that he's starting to research Blast Furnace rather halfway through. That is a long upgrade to get. Longbows have to stay nice and far back. No point in having 12 range if you engage with your enemy 6 tiles away. And look at how far they are from the field of battle and how far they're shelling away. Wow. What other unit has this kind of range? Not including Trebs and Bombards. But the Berber's on the high ground, so he's taking 25% less damage. More and more Cavaliers have come. How many are there here now? 20. Almost. But how many Halberdiers for our Briton? 32. 32 Halberdiers against how many now? 18. That is bad news bears for these Cavaliers. Another one dies. What an absolute banger of a battle happening right now. Range versus range. Our Berber trying to get the upper hand is finally also population capped at 200. Now our Briton is the one dipping below. His castle coming under attack. Our Berber has 150 stone to repair. His Cavaliers are eventually taking all of the Halberdiers out, but their HP is terrible now, and backing them up, he's got skirmishers on 2 feet and skirmishers on 4 feet. Oh no, reinforcements are streaming in, but the Briton Halberdiers are already here. That castle stays up. Sebastian selling whatever the hell he can for more gold. He needs more Cavaliers. Look how far. Look at that arch of arrows from the longbows. Wow. You guys know one of my pet peeves is when units aren't used the way they're built to be used. When ranged units are used with their range not exactly maximized. Right now we're getting a clinic right out of Villese. 41 elite longbows. Oh, they try to dodge just like their Genitor ancestors did earlier in the game. There is a Cavalier in the back of the base. 10 kills. We'll keep an eye on him. But there's nothing that can approach this army. This is the power of range. I mean, keep in mind, the longbow itself, take a look, 11 base damage with not a lot of bonuses, just the usual spearman. Surprise, no eagle warrior. Everything and everyone in this game has a bonus, even boars against eagle warriors. But what an absolute clinic on how to use these longbows. I might need to move them back a little though. Now they're in the range of these Berber skirmishers. Light cav are out. For some reason, the longbows are moving. Where are they going? Was he trying to attack this ostrich? What the hell was that little move? Oh, Villese, I complimented you too early, but his does manage to get the castle. No more Berber castles. 22 longbows. It looks like our Briton wants to make the transition into some kind of infantry, a bombard cannon out up here to the northeast of the battlefield. Army supply 31 for our Briton, 46 for our Berber, who's still population capped, and now our Briton is in trouble. He's down 50 supply, 30 of that in villagers. Right as I talk about how well he was using his longbows, he for some reason allowed the skirmishers to close the distance. Where's he going with these guys now? Okay, loses a treb. Does he not realize he's under attack here? Amazing. And now they're back to their 12 range. Look at how far away they are attacking those villagers while these swordsmen try. Let's take a look at their upgrades. +4, fully upgraded. And in a second, they're going to be two-handed swordsmen. If only the Britons had gambesons. I think they're one of the civs that did not get them. But he does have champions if he so wants. And then castle up. Take a look at the map. It is split right down the middle, but there is a spear of blue moving forward, and he's taking his opponent's gold. This isn't even map contested gold. I think this is purely Sebastian's tertiary gold. His secondary stone as well are now up for grabs. He's got an army out. In some respects, the much better army here. How many Genitors? Only 3 left. Where are they? They're back here. Oh no, now Hussars are out for our Berber as well. 20% off. Oh, okay. Interesting. We have a villager. We don't usually see an escort for the villager. We'll keep an eye on that villager, see what the hell Villese wants to do. He does have the score lead, but not by much, about 10%. Berber siege moving forward. Man, the longbows, oh man, there is no point in moving them this far, this close. And now there's raiding to the south with Treb and with Halberdier. This escort says, I've gotten you this far, you are now on your own. The good news for Villese is the Briton army isn't an expensive army, whereas his opponent seems to be going very much, or at least was going, very much for Cavaliers, which are super expensive compared to what our Briton is building. So he had the potential to keep spamming his army. 44 army supply for our Briton to 41 of our Berber now. These skirmishers getting very little done. But is it possible the transition into infantry here will be something that ultimately wins him the game? Let's see. He's only got 5 two-handed swordsmen left. But they have closed the distance. And like I said, ranged versus melee. If you let that melee close the distance, it is going to be bad news bears. But numbers-wise, yellow very much outnumbering blue in this little field of war. Blue's army, where is it? Trebs, what are you shelling away at? The infrastructure. By the way, look at this infrastructure. Very impressive out of our Berber. 11 stables, 8 archery ranges. Our Berber, by the way, in the meantime, has also taken all 4 relics. I was wondering, why is his gold going up a little bit? Little. He's not the Khmer. Or no, what the hell am I talking? Not the Khmer. He doesn't have the Khmer-like bonus, is what I meant to say, where a resource just accumulates 1 unit by 1 unit as it's mined, like they have with their farmers. No, he's got 4 relics to 1. Skirmishers are gone, replaced by 2 Hussars. We'll keep an eye out on them, see what kind of damage they can do. I love this. I absolutely love the Briton use of the longbow to raid here. 11 range on the tower means that they can raid all the live long day. They can just plant themselves 12 tiles away and be as annoying as possible. But take a look at army supplies. Our Berber now swung back into the lead, although now, right as I finish that sentence, our Briton swings back into the lead, but neither player able to really outnumber the other in a big way. Raiding here to the back. This is what the villager was for. He is getting ready to raid with infantry. And now he's got champions, by the way. How many? 18 going up to 22. I mean, our Berber has 70 army supply, but 43 of that is in skirmishers. And the more Villese pivots to champions, the more our Berber gets in trouble, because there's just no way that these skirmishers who do no bonus damage against champions or infantry of any kind, except spearmen, of course. Spearmen and eagles. Those poor spearmen and eagles contesting the location of this castle. If he starts spamming more and more champions, although he's just down to 2. So now we've engaged in a full-on trash war an hour into the game. Both players with an okay amount of gold, but not really intent on spending it just yet. Oh no, the Trebs are in trouble. Our Berber with the cheaper hussars. Our Briton with the, how many? 6 castles and halberdiers. Capped ram now. Remember, this is as good as it gets for Sebastian. Berbers don't get siege ram. But take a look at this. Now champions are starting to raid. Champions backed up by skirmishers is potentially very problematic for yellow, since he has no soldiers or army there whatsoever. His entire army is here. Did I hear a hand cannoneer? Yeah, there's hand cannoneers here too. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What a game. So Briton range ultimately defeats Berber mobility. And let's take a look at why, because Sebastian still had 106 villagers, still had 42 army supply, still had 900 gold. Why did he resign? Let's take a look. So to the north, we saw the 2 barracks being built. What does he have? I'm just going to do the simple thing. 7 champions, 6 skirmishers. This entire farming community has been slaughtered. This entire farming community has been slaughtered. This one looks like it's about to get slaughtered. One poor villager already dead. Her spade and bucket already on the ground. To the south, he's got a castle. I mean, if this was a team game, maybe the trade would be in jeopardy here, but it is not. The tower that was here seems to have gone down. This woodline has been essentially lamed by the presence of these 3 longbows. That being said, he's got an internal forest. 2 internal forests, although this one is very close to where the champions are. So I don't think it's lack of wood, especially not with 2,400 wood. I mean, the scores are 4,000 apart. He knows. Let's take a look at Yellow's vision. Yeah, look at this. He sees the castles. 1, 2, 3, 4 castles ringing his entire perimeter. By the way, what was here? Why is this town center? I don't know. This is from before, I guess, his previous vision. So he's being raided to the north, to the center. He just lost his rams. He has 1 more, which these my God, these halberdiers are going to get. Or maybe he'll use the Trebs to get them. He's still got a decent sized army. Let's take a look at the numbers and see if that we can figure out anything. Oh, what the hell? 362 APM for our Berber? Wow. This is Hera to the power of Hera level micro. 362 APM. Amazing. Well, at the end, once we're done taking a look at why he resigned, we'll click back to this 36:55 minute mark of the game and see what exactly he was microing. 266 halbs, 181. So yeah, we were fully in the midst of a trash war. And I just want to see, when did our Briton get So there's Yeoman that we saw, but when did he get Werewolf? At the 42.50 minute mark of the game. Okay, so fairly early on. Did our Berber get any unique upgrades? I see he went up to Imperial. No, that's Bracer. That's Werewolf. No, it doesn't look like he got Magrebi camels. Not actually, you know, not that he needed Magrebi camels. He didn't have any camels. And Casba with the making the castles work faster didn't really come into play because take a look, he's got no castles. That might be the nail in the coffin, to be honest. That he didn't have any static defense. Economically, yeah, I was gonna say they didn't seem like they were very far apart. A little bit of extra wood for our Berber, a little bit of extra food for our Berber. Gold with the relics basically makes the difference there of 3,000. And look at the stone for our Briton. Basically sucked up all the stone on the map. Okay, I suspect this is probably why. I mean, look at the infrastructure. I'm going to zoom out. Apologies to anyone on a smaller screen. 17 stables, 8 archery ranges. But if you're going to... 2 points. If you're going to spam Hussars, you need farms. Like we saw. Defunct farming community, dead farming community. This one's next. So his villager count on farms right before he resigned, 47. That's not a lot. That's not a lot if you want to spam Hussars. Even at a 20% discount, they are not cheap in terms of food. But I think more importantly, no static defense of any kind. There's literally nothing here except town centers, and the only town center in this northern portion is here. And keep in mind, without a castle, there's a certain unit that you just cannot build. And that unit is the Treb. And so without a castle, with only 50 stone, his only options are these capped rams, which are not ideal, especially since champions are out. By the way, what is this? Look at this guy. Look at him mid-throw. Oh, yeah. Where's the spear that he threw? No idea. But wow, what a cool little freeze frame for this guy. But no castles means no trebs. No castles means very hard to defend this, especially against champions that have a +4 attack against buildings. And so the north is about to get lost. Or he's about to lose the north would be a more accurate way of saying that. He has the infrastructure, but take a look at his food count at the end of the game. 600 food. That's enough for what, 12 villagers? He's got enough wood for farms, but by the time he builds these 12 villagers out of only one... Where's the second one? 2, 3 town center. I mean, he can't really build out of here because anything that's built out of here is going to get gunned down. So there we go. The inherent weakness here of the base that Sebastian built, the lack of castles, just means he has no way to contest this Maginot line, offensive Maginot line, not even a defensive line. This is a line designed to choke out your opponent. Look at this vision from our blue Briton. He sees everything. Yellow? Not a bad amount of vision. I think he's got a few outposts and towers, and he's got some good upgrades on his structures that he can see a little bit. Oh, there's a stable here with 1 Hussar. I think a big old spam of Hussar out of those 16 or 17, I think, stables that we saw, 17, would have been game ending. The problem for him is that there was just no more food. 600 food is enough to build what with that 20% discount? Less than 10? Fewer than 10 Hussars? Meanwhile, our Briton just has absolute exclusive dominion over everything. Everything, including this. This is the Arrakis spice. This is what everyone is fighting over, or if the game had continued, what everyone would be fighting over. It is well protected by 1, 2, 3 castles, 1 directly protecting it. So no mining at all unless he can get rid of this castle. And to get rid of this castle, he's got to get rid of this castle because this is the direction his army is going, or build a siege workshop here, which takes time and resources. So I think Sebastian just realized, uh-oh, how the hell did I have end of the game with no castles, no trebs, no static defense of any kind? You're now raiding me. 1, 2, 3 farming communities are gone. And even though I've got a big army here in the center, especially now with hand cannoneers, I just don't have any ability in the long run to sustain a game against you. And so ultimately, oh mama, take a look at the kill count. I was going to say, despite heavy losses on both sides, but wow, did I undersell that? Berber killing 621 units, our Briton 588, together 1,200 kills in just a little bit over an hour. Civilian kills, not really the reason why either player, not really dictating the pace for either player here. I don't think Sebastian resigned because he lost 54 villagers, for example, or rather because he lost 67 villagers. He himself killed 54 with a few raids there that we noticed. But again, I think just the inability to take down these trebs. 3 trebs of his opponents already out. And by the way, he sees them with these hussars. He tried to run into them. He tried to kill them, but these halberdiers body blocked. And again, even though he has just about as much army supply as his opponent, ultimately there's no longevity here. Our Briton can take trade after trade after trade after trade, and Sebastian, even though he's built a big base, is going to run out of food. He's lamed, or has one of his forests lamed already, and once this is lamed, you best believe this tower is next, and then this forest is next, in which case he'll have to relocate. Where? Where can he relocate? This tiny little triangle of forest? So I think Sebastian read the game correctly, realized that he has no future, and that the Briton is about to suffocate him, decides to tap out. Our Briton Villese gets the big W, but oh man, what a kill count. GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.